Malware analysis by eLearnSecurity.com. First thing, we're going to ensure that our virtual machine adapter, network adapter, is set to host only. We don't want our malware trying to infect other machines on our network. So with that setting checked, we can click OK. We're now going to gather some information about our system before we install the malware. So running auto runs, which you can get from sysinternals on Microsoft.com. We're going to gather some information about all the auto start locations currently set up on the system. We're going to make a save, saving all these details to a file. So we're going to save this to autoruns.arn. Press save. And we'll use that information later when we compare the changes. Closing that at the moment and moving on to using RedShot, a free open source tool you can get from sourceforge.com. We want to also save information related to the file system, so by checking scan dir and clicking first shot, we're able to gather all the information about the registry as it is, and also information about the file system, which we'll again compare at a later stage. Process Explorer, another useful tool from Microsoft.com, allows us to look at the running active processes in the system. I'm just going to set difference highlight duration here from our options menu, increasing the duration to make it easier to see any changes that take place. Setting that to 5 seconds and clicking OK. I'll just minimize these tools, get them out of the way. We're also going to use Wireshark to have a look at the network traffic. So Wireshark, a free open source packet analyzer. This will allow us to monitor the behaviour of our malware, to see exactly what it's doing so that we can interact with it, observing our changes to the system as we go along. So by selecting our network adapter that we're going to listen on, our VM adapter, we're able to see what traffic's being passed from the system to the outside world. ProcessMon is a useful tool for looking at the live feed of all the processes that are running. What are they up to? How are they interacting with the file system? How are they interacting with the registry? I'm going to just stop the capture at the moment and clear the screen. So by clicking clear, this will clear this view. Clicking on capture, start the capture of the processes again. Just minimize that for a moment. I'm now going to run the Java client piece of malware that I've got. And with Process Explorer open, I'll be able to see any changes, and we can see the Java client.exe has run. It's also spawned additional exes. You can see here that silently it's injected itself into the default browser. It's an interesting thing to note. By double clicking on the process, we'll get the process properties. You can see here that the parent process csc.exe is what spawned this process. Normally this would be explorer.exe, so that's definitely a good sign that our malware is doing something. By clicking on bring to front, you can see here that there's no visible windows found for this process, so the process is running in the background, hidden from the user. Just click OK to clear that, click OK again. Just minimizing this window, and we're going to take a second shot, so a second comparison of the registry and the file system in order to do a comparison later on. While that's running, I'm going to open up autoruns so we can do a comparison of the file that we saved earlier to the current state. Waiting for a moment for all the entries to fill up. Now by going to the menu and going to compare, we should be able to see any obvious differences in our autoruns file. So select an autoruns.arn, click on open. You can now see the SVC21 host has been highlighted. This provides us useful information about which registry keys have been added and the exact locations in the registry for us to do further analysis. So by right clicking on the entry we can jump to, which will open up regedit and take us to the exact location in the registry. From here we can see the string key that's been added for SVC21 host, given the exact location to the path to that particular exe. Open up this string value, we can edit the string, we'll just take a quick copy of that information and then go into start and run and paste in this information in. We can very quickly get to the location. Once we're in the location we can notice there's a number of files that's been created, including the executable. Also a couple of interesting files here, uuu.uuu and xxx.xxx. We'll have a look at those later. Now that RedShot's ready we can click on compare. This will generate a nice text file for us to have a look inside so that we can perform further analysis and inspection. So quite a lot of information is gathered here. Some of the changes are by the system itself, but one key has been added which is interesting. You can see here under HKey users and a particular SID value for the current user logged in. Can browse our way down the file looking for any other suspicious activity. We can see here a number of files have been added since the last time we created our snapshot. There's the uuu.uuu and svc21 host.exe. We're also interested in this particular file entry here for logs.dat. Again, we can do further analysis and dig into these files to try and find out exactly what's going on. So copying this information, again we're going to browse our way to the path and inspect logs.dat. So file selected, I can right click, open with. I'm going to choose Notepad to open this file and have a look and see what's inside. Selecting a program from a list, I'll just select Notepad and click OK. Now the file's open, we can see that the information contained within is obfuscated in some way. It could be encrypted or encoded. We're not quite sure at this stage yet how that's done. We would need to reverse engineer the malware to try and establish what encoding method is it used or which encryption method. Something for further investigation later. So I'll close this down. And you can see here again this entry for uuu.uuu. We definitely want to have a look at that a bit further. But at this stage we're happy with the information we've gathered. So open up processmon. I'm going to have a quick look and see if we can establish any changes here. We notice that chrome.exe is doing quite a lot of work with a particular file, xxx.xxx. We can see that the file is being created, that it's being queried, it's being closed and deleted. So we would note all of this behaviour and try and figure out exactly what is the piece of malware doing with this file, what's its purpose, and gather as much information as we can to inspect. And we can see that xxx.xxx is gone.